Hi, I'm Kevin Berg, President and CEO of the Ames Convention Visitors Bureau. Join me as I show you why travel matters to Ames, Iowa State University, Story County, and Central Iowa. So Gary, thanks for meeting me today. You know, this last year has been really a tough year, and I really appreciate you stepping up from your job at Mary Greeley to serve on the board of the Convention Visitors Bureau, and it was definitely a tough year. Traditionally, we have $120 million of economic impact from overnight visitors into Ames, and this last year, granted, $75 million was still a pretty good number. It's not what we normally get, but it's still not a bad number. So it was a tough year, and I appreciate you stepping up and serving in this difficult year of the Convention Visitors Bureau.
Well, it was my pleasure, Kevin, and you certainly did a great job leading us through some really difficult times. You know, I think about what the Ames Convention and Visitors Bureau does. You know, we had already granted over $80,000 towards community events that were supposed to take place in 2020. And unfortunately, all of those were either postponed or canceled. And so that had a negative impact on the community. The good news is we're going to carry those funds forward and make them available to those events should they be able to be done in 2021.
You're right. The community grant is a great initiative that we've got as part of our agreement with the City of Ames, and we are fortunate to be able to carry those funds forward for those events and those associations and groups that are hosting events here in 21, and hopefully that's going to happen. You know, as we're here at Chocolaterie Stam, you know, this is one of the great downtown businesses that has really had to make some adaptations this last year, from curbside pickup to working on delivery with partnering with some of the other downtown businesses in their delivery. So a lot of businesses had to make some adjustments this last year and pivot from the way they normally do business, but it's great to see that they've survived along with a lot of others. So Gary, how does travel matter to you personally or to Mary Greeley?
Well, certainly, you know, like I said, having people have the ability to come into Ames helps us showcase the community we have. That makes it attractive for people, whether they want to retire here, relocate for jobs. We have a lot of opportunities, you know, even with Iowa State University, where one organization is recruiting to fill a position and they're bringing a trailing spouse or significant other that maybe has a need for a job in the healthcare field. And so not having those opportunities does have a trickle-down effect even to our organization. So again, travel does matter to all of us in this community. I mean, you think about $114 to $120 million a year impact. It means having thriving businesses like Chocolaterie Stam here on Main Street. It means having people that are out in the community enjoying the amenities that we have, and so it's important for all of us.
Right. Yeah, great points. So Gary, thanks again for serving on the board of the Ames CVB. We really appreciate your commitment, not only to the CVB, but to the community.
Well, let's hope for a better 21.
Absolutely. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Kevin, what's up?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Beautiful
Good.
Sunny day.
It is, finally. Hey, I've been working on the annual report for the Ames Convention Visitors Bureau, and you being on the board, I just wanted to run a few things by you and see how things were going here in the athletic department.
Well, thanks, Kevin. I appreciate you stopping in to at least check on us. You know, you're right. This past year was a tough year for everybody. You know, that's one of the reasons we fought so hard for fans in football, because it means so much to this community. Not just people coming to Ames and spending money at the hotels and restaurants, but all the people that work, either part-time or full-time, that are associated with, you know, the entertainment side of this community. You know, what people don't think about is all the local charities that staff our concession stands at football games and the revenue that they make for their charities. All the people, we have over 1,000 people that work part-time at our football games. And all those people didn't, have employment this fall like they normally would have. And all that feeds into then their ability to go spend money at restaurants. And so, yeah, I appreciate it, because we do believe we play a big role in helping this community thrive.
Well, we know that travel is important and people are planning to come for football in 21. What does 21 look like for you?
Well, we're excited. There is a lot of hometown pride in Ames, Iowa. And it starts for us with Cyclone football. And one of the things that was really good about last fall was we were really good in football. So you couldn't have picked a better year to have a great year, because in a lot of ways we sent all our fans away and said, don't come. We had a great year. All those fans now can't wait to get back in Jack Trice Stadium this fall. We start selling season tickets in March. We've started collecting donations. I have no doubt that we'll sell out for this fall, and that we'll have a really robust economy for this community when we have 6 home games this fall that hopefully will have 60,000 people at them.
Why does travel matter for ISU athletics?
Well, what we do is provide opportunities for student athletes. But to do that, we have to generate revenue. And the way we generate revenue is by hosting people at our events. That's why it matters, because we'll have 6 or 7 football games with 70,000 people here that will invest money in this community. But it's no different than the summer games from the Iowa Games, or when we host the Special Olympics, or all the events that are held down at Sheeman, the events at CY Stevens, the events at the Hunziker Sports Complex, the events at the new pool. All those things matter to make this community better 365 days a year.
Well, Jamie, good luck this year. Thanks for everything you do for the Ames Convention and Visitors Bureau, the City of Ames, and obviously Iowa State University. It's good to see you. John, thanks for coming into the office today. I appreciate you coming into the Convention Visitors Bureau office. We've got some of your staff that are housed here with conference planning and management. So with that relationship, we know that it's extremely important and very unique in the country, this relationship between the Convention Visitors Bureau and the university, and just wanted to make sure that it's staying strong with everything that we've had to deal with with COVID this year.
Yeah, no, COVID has tested a lot of things, but I'd say not this relationship. I think it's made it as strong as ever. As you say, conference planning and management and registration services are, things changed, and we pivoted how we did conferences and such, but they really stepped up and helped people think of how to do their meetings differently. I also got to say, I relied on them heavily as we thought about bringing students back to Ames. There was a lot of work went into that planning, and conference planning and management stepped up. Now I'm coordinating our committee work, but the testing that we did at LEAD last August to test over 8,000 students, it was an event. We went to our event planners, and your team stepped up and helped with some of the people moving as well.
So John, obviously travel matters to us with the Convention Visitors Bureau. Tell me, how does that matter with extension and outreach and conference planning and management?
Well, it's a big part of what we do. Maybe more information than you want, but our travel was down $250,000 last year. So that's how much we travel, because we still did travel some, and yet with the shutdown and the limited, it's a huge part of what we do. Not just to conferences like here in Ames, but even just making connections out in the state and from county to county. It's very important. That personal connection we have, whether it's sitting down with the city council or meeting with a room full of farmers or working with our 4-H volunteers, all a big part of what we do, and having that face of extension be there in person is really important to our success.
John, thanks for coming in today. I really appreciate this partnership and the relationship we have with Iowa State. It is extremely important and extremely unique, as we are the only one with this kind of relationship in the country. So thank you. Steve, thanks for joining me today. Hey, as owner of Knapp Tedesco Insurance, you do a lot of community things, and serving as the vice chair in 2020 for the Ames Convention Business Bureau has been one of them. And now for 21, you're going to be the chair of the Convention Business Bureau. And we really thank you for that. You know, hospitality industry has been one of those that has been affected the most by the pandemic.
Well, Kevin, I appreciate the opportunity to serve as chair of the Ames Convention and Visitors Bureau. It's an important organization for this community. We have a significant impact on the economic development nature of this community, and we continue to drive a lot of business in Ames. And things are indeed looking up in 2021. We have a number of groups that are back on track and coming to Ames in 2021. Groups like the Iowa Reading Association, the U.S. Track and Field Youth Group, the annual Fire School, USA Softball Association, the Summer Iowa Games, and all of those groups will bring over 12,000 visitors to this community. And we're also pleased in 2021 to have the Iowa High School Music Association back in Ames celebrating their 75th anniversary. They'll bring over 5,000 participants to this community. So really excited about the events that are returning to Ames in 2021. Excited to have those back in this community and have those as events for Ames.
And Steve, don't forget, we have the Ames Community Grant, which, you know, this year we had a number of groups that weren't able to host their events in 2020 that we moved those dollars forward, more than $50,000. But then we also awarded to 10 new groups over $23,000 for the community grant. So that's a great initiative that we've been able to offer for community, for events to be able to host and for betterment of Ames.
I agree, Kevin. We certainly don't want to lose sight of those nonprofit organizations in this community that are so important to the fabric of Ames and important that we help support and fund through that community grant program. This year, I also have the privilege and the pleasure of serving as chair of the Ames Main Street District, and there are a number of things happening in downtown Ames as well, a lot of redevelopment on the table, and it's just great to be in a community where there's so much happening, so many great things at the university and the research park and the downtown and campus town, and I think the Bureau really plays an important role in the economic development of this community.
Well, you know, downtown is, all those businesses were suffering too, and it's great to see so many of them be able to survive. It's a great downtown, and thanks for your service in serving on that board as well. So, Steve, tell me, how does travel matter to you and to NAP Tedesco as well?
We've been in business this is our 95th year of doing business in Ames as an agency, NAP Tedesco Insurance. And the more growth we have in this community in terms of economic growth and housing growth and manufacturing growth, all driven lots of times by properties like this Marriott, this Courtyard by Marriott, and many other hotel properties, provides opportunities for us. And certainly as we continue to recruit and retain employees, those employees want to live in a great community where there's vitality and there's growth, and that's important to us as well, as I know it is for many, many other employers in the community.
Right. Well, Steve, thanks again for serving on the Ames Convention Business Bureau board, and look forward to an exciting 21 and the future in Ames.
Pleased to serve in this role, and we all know how important travel is, and travel matters in 2021.
Thanks for joining me on my trip around Ames to help show you why travel matters to Ames, Iowa State, Story County, and Central Iowa. And I invite you to come by our office, and we can guide you to the best places to see, stay, shop, and things to do in Ames and Central Iowa. Thank you.